If you're someone in recovery and have always asked, why am I an addict? This video will give you a lot of answers to the questions that you have. And it'll also help you understand what's going on in your brain as you're trying to overcome your addiction. Moreover, it'll give you answers as to how your addiction may have developed and why it's so hard to quit drinking alcohol, taking opioids, marijuana, heroin, whatever it is. Stay tuned for that, and I promise this video will be mad informative for you. Alright, enjoy.
Came up from nothing to something. Now I'm getting everything I wanted. Finesse.
Alright, so welcome back to the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like the video. This channel is all about providing you a daily dose of EduTainment. My goal, my aspiration is to both entertain you and to educate you. So what you'll get essentially is content that's entertaining, so whether that be just brighten up your day, make you laugh a bit, or content that's educational, content that is provide you information that will greatly impact your life in a positive manner, right? So that's my promise to you, whether that be reaction comedy. Every video is what I like to call a life-changing video. Not lifestyle, but life-changing. So today I'm not an alcoholic per se. Like, I can speak on like what you can experience, but I feel like it'll come a lot more authentic coming from someone who's been in the gutter, so to speak. So this is a video courtesy of Chris from the Rewired Soul, and he'll detail you exactly his experience with drinking alcohol. So Chris, take it away.
Today, we are going to be talking about alcohol withdrawal, which is extremely dangerous, and it's one of the clear indicators that you or someone you know has a problem with alcohol. So stick around in this video as I share my experience, explain some of the science behind it, and some of the solutions. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? It's Chris from the Rewired Soul, where we talk about the problem, but focus on the solution. Today is December 16th, so in 7 days, if I stay sober, I will be 5.5 years 100% sober from both drugs and alcohol. By the way, anybody out there watching this, and if you're just watching this and you're struggling with alcohol or even drugs, and you think it's impossible, welcome to the club. If you would have told me 5.5 years ago that I'd be even alive today, I would have called you crazy. So a lot of my channel and what I do here is to not only give those of you who are struggling with addiction some hope, but I also do a lot of videos on how to improve your mental health if you struggle with anxiety, depression, or anything like that. But anyways, I made another video about opiate withdrawal. My primary substance of choice that I started out with was actually alcohol. I'm the son of an alcoholic mom. I swore I was never going to drink, and clearly that didn't work out too well. Alcohol it's the most dangerous substance out there, and it's also the most legal substance out there. I don't think that as many people get help for alcoholism as they need to, because it's so widely accepted around the world. And because of that, it's hard for people to really distinguish when they've crossed this invisible line and developed a problem. So for me personally, my alcoholism, it progressed pretty quick. There was a lot of hard drinking, and then it got to a point where I couldn't stop. For me, it really progressed when I received a few promotions and a raise, and I got promoted to a very high-level position at a very young age, and I wasn't ready for all of the stress and everything that came along with it. So while I was, 20 years old, 19 or 20 years old when I got this big promotion, I had just been doing the partying drinking. I was drinking with my friends, drinking with people who, college age, frat boys type stuff. That's just what I did. But my drinking really started to progress when I was bringing home the stress from work. And what ended up happening was I had to start picking up a tall can on the way home just to go get blackout drunk. And then it got so bad that I had to drink in the morning just to prepare myself for the day at work. So my drinking got really bad. So alcohol withdrawal, for me, to be honest, I was so ignorant, and that's one of the reasons I do these videos. I was so ignorant to what was even happening to my body. So the first real sign of alcohol dependency that I had was I was throwing up a lot and randomly, and you know, like some of the stuff is disgusting, but this is just the reality of what some of these withdrawal symptoms are like. Like, I was driving around, because I worked at a car dealership. I'd be driving around in cars, like still drunk from the night before, which is terrible, right? In customers' cars, so just let you know what's going on sometimes. But anyways, I'd be driving in a car, and it would just come up in my mouth, just these little small, like, kind of throw-ups, and I would just open up the door and just puke out the car. And like, that's the kind of insanity that we get in when we're in active addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs. Like, to me, that was just like, oh, something weird's happening with my body, and I was just randomly throwing up throughout the day, and it was disgusting, and it was terrible, and yeah, it was just, it was a bad place. Now, as this continued, what I started to realize was even when I was drinking in the morning, around halfway through the day, my hand would start shaking. This is what we call like body tremors. Like, this is one of the key indications of alcohol dependency. So if you're experiencing body tremors when you're not drinking, this is one of the clear signs. Me being so ignorant about what was happening to my body, I just started going to the bar at lunch. I would convince my friend, like, hey, let's go shoot some pool. But I was sneaking over to the bar to get a drink, because I started realizing, like, okay, I was literally shaking so bad that I couldn't even eat at lunch. My hand was shaking. I remember one winter I was trying to eat soup and it just wasn't even working. I couldn't write, I couldn't do anything. But when I had more to drink, that went away. So I wasn't thinking that maybe this is a problem. I was thinking, oh, my body just needs alcohol. Like, I was just completely ignorant to what was actually happening with my body. So there were all these signs, and my addiction was just getting worse. And one of the other symptoms of alcohol withdrawal that is very bad and very dangerous is the hallucinations. I remember driving from Las Vegas to California to help a friend move who lived in Los Angeles. And as I'm driving there, you know, being Mr. Safety, I wasn't drinking while I was driving, you know, to another state, but I was hallucinating because my body needed alcohol. I was legitimately seeing like demons and stuff in the sky, and it was scaring the hell out of me. But again, I didn't know what was going on. As my drinking continued and progressed, and you know, 5.5 years ago when I finally got sober, I was admitted to the hospital because I was having heart issues. But in that hospital, I hadn't had anything to drink, and that's when the withdrawal hit me from alcohol. Not opiates, but alcohol, because they were still giving me pain medication, so the opiate withdrawal was kind of being like at bay. But I was hallucinating so bad. I was coming in and out of these fogs, and like I would start hallucinating, and I was trying to fight the nursing staff and everything, and it was, I can't even imagine what these nurses were going through. They were trying to help me, I was trying to fight them, and then they would leave my room, and then I would kind of snap out of it, and they'd come back in, and I would apologize to them. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me or why I'm acting like a lunatic. They would leave, they would come back, and I would start trying to fight them again, and it was just all bad. So these are some of the symptoms of alcohol withdrawal that I dealt with, but there are a lot more. So nausea is very common, anxiety is very common, insomnia, depression, the tremors that I talked about. There's also delirium tremens. Alcohol is very dangerous too, because it's one of the only substances where when you're actually withdrawing, you can have a grand mal seizure, which can be fatal. Aside from that too, when your body is trying to regain this equilibrium and figure out what the hell is going on, your heart is under an immense amount of stress. So on one hand, you have long-term drinking, which is damaging and weakening your heart. And now when you're coming down from alcohol and withdrawing, your heart is working even harder. So a lot of people who are coming off of alcohol, they can experience heart failure. I actually knew somebody who passed away from a heart attack just because of alcohol withdrawal. I have a video that I did when I first started this YouTube channel about Nelson Ellis from True Blood. He died while withdrawing from alcohol. So if you are somebody who is struggling with alcoholism, if what I'm talking to you about is resonating and you're like, dang, I'm dependent on alcohol, I need some help, or if you're somebody and you know somebody who is showing these symptoms and they need help, you have to get medical attention. You should never detox from alcohol alone. It is literally the most dangerous substance that you can withdraw from. So you have to have medical attention. Even if you don't want the withdrawal medications they give you, you need a nursing staff and doctors around to make sure that your heart does not explode. You need this staff around you to make sure that you're taken care of if you happen to have a seizure. Like, a lot of people try to do this thing on their own to prove something, and they die as a result. So how do they treat alcohol withdrawal? When you go in there, first they're gonna do a whole full assessment, both mentally and physically, and see what's going on. They're gonna check your blood pressure. My blood pressure was through the roof. When I went to a detox center, they legitimately thought that their machine was broken. They were like, with your blood pressure the way it is right now, like, you should be dead. So typically they're going to give you medications that are going to lower your blood pressure, lower your heart rate. They'll also typically give you some anti-seizure medications. Now, some of the medications, alcohol is a lot different than opiates. So typically what they're gonna give you to help with the symptoms of withdrawal are medications like sometimes like lithium, which will help calm down the brain as it's freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on with alcohol, with your withdrawal symptoms. So in other cases, they might give you Klonopin. They'll give you like these very mild benzodiazepines. So they're not gonna give you Xanax, but they give you very, very low dose benzodiazepines, because what those are, they're tranquilizers, and they help bring you down as your mind and your body are freaking out. All right, so when you go there, and typically alcohol withdrawal symptoms, they can last anywhere from a week to 2 weeks, depending on your own personal physiology. But this is why you keep following up with doctors. If you go to an inpatient treatment center that has an on-site detox facility, or even if they don't, like sometimes you'll go to a detox and then you'll transition over to an inpatient rehab, but it's good to have a nursing staff with you at all times when you're in the first 2-3 weeks of your recovery, because some of these symptoms come and go. They might give you medications to help with your insomnia, your anxiety, your depression, and things like that, just to kind of help balance you out. It's gonna take your body a little bit of time to balance itself out, so that's where the medications really, really help. So I hope if you just happen to stumble across this video, I hope this helps you understand why people keep drinking. Sometimes these symptoms of withdrawal are so brutal that people keep drinking. But if you know somebody like this, I'm not telling you to pity them or have all this sympathy for them, but understand what they're going through and how dangerous it is. And if you can share this video and potentially help them understand that this is something that they need help with, get them some medical attention.
All right, so welcome back. It should be noted that quitting an addiction on your own can be very dangerous and even life-altering. Like it can cause you death in some cases, right? So you need a proven step by which you can go about quitting your addiction or letting it go completely. So what I highly recommend y'all do is get someone professional. But I definitely have a course that I recommend y'all get. It'll be linked in the description and in the pinned comment. It's the Truth of Addiction, like, free video. It'll further go into more detail as to what is going on in your brain, why your brain is almost hooked on alcohol or whatever it is you're addicted to, what's going on in terms of your dopamine receptors, and why no matter how hard you try, it's so hard to quit drinking. So check out the free video in the description and the pinned comment. It's called The Truth of Addiction, free video that you can watch that goes into even more detail. The course or the free video as well is courtesy of medical professional or medical counselor Scott Roberts, who's a rehabilitation counselor, I should say. He's a rehabilitation counselor. So y'all check it out in the description and the pinned comment. And yeah, that's it. And always remember, if it doesn't feed you, then don't water it. If it doesn't feed you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or financially, or physically, then don't water it. No room for it. All right, deuces.
Now I'm getting everything I wanted. Finesse, came with a sweet one named Vanessa. Brown skin ting, look